This is the Samsung SGH i900 Omnia, a Windows Mobile 6.1 professional smartphone that sports a 5 megapixel autofocus camera on the back. The Omnia is pretty much all display. It has a wide QVGA display on it. There's very few controls. There's a call send, call end button, and then this optical mouse control in the middle that we'll get into a little bit later. On the left hand side here we have the power port. There's a lanyard loop here, a very beefy lanyard loop. Camera shutter button, that's a two-stage camera shutter button. Volume control up and down, and then a dedicated menu button that pulls up Samsung's own menu layered on top of the Windows Mobile user interface. Pretty solid build, not much in terms of creaks or gaps or anything like that, and pretty good looking too. So physically, very nice design. What you see on the Omnia screen right now is Samsung's widget UI. It's kind of visually appealing and kind of fun, but it doesn't make all that much sense. What you do is, from the toolbar on here, on the left side, you just grab things and position them as you like. Media players, change background images, all sorts of things like that. Just move them back into the toolbar on the side when you're done. Pop-ups for new messages. I got 2 new messages there. But overall, it's not all that useful. Things move. It's hard to position. The screen's just not well done. You can see it does work in a landscape mode as well, which gives you a little bit more real estate to work with, but overall it's just not particularly useful. Of much more practical use is Samsung's layout 1 for their Today screen. They give 2 layouts. This one's particularly useful. This uses things like swiping gestures, quick access to contacts, settings, and the basic home screen that shows you time, date information, message statuses, and then you can also put a couple of extra, a little bit of space on the bottom for your own plugins that you choose. I chose the messaging and the calendar plugin so I can see specifics about the messages and the upcoming appointments in my calendar. One of the neat things is for the quick access to the settings is normally they don't do anything. But when you tap the settings button again, you'll notice that it shows that it's unlocked. And now I can do things like hit the vibration control, turn it on and off. So once you have the settings the way you like, and then you just press the tap again and it's locked, and from that point forward, everything's safe from accidental presses. Another thing that Samsung has on here that's kind of useful is its own menu. If you press the dedicated menu button here, it brings up the Samsung menu. It looks just like the menu in terms of the iconography, same menu as the Soul has. It's Samsung's new look seemingly. Common functions you can access. Then there's also things like there's a user-definable shortcut screen where you can put your own applications. All of these came pre-configured. I added Opera browser to the menu here just to test it. Opera comes pre-installed though, which is a nice version of Opera, just like on the HTC Touch Diamond and Touch Pro series. Pressing the menu button will always take you back. Overall, pretty nice system. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you is how the D-pad controller works. So it's basically an upside-down optical mouse. So what we're going to do is pull up something where we can see some scrolling lists here. Right now it's set up as a D-pad, so I'm moving my finger across it. If you move it relatively slowly, it moves slowly. If you flick it quickly, it rotates. It's not real easy to control, but it's usable when you get used to it. Now there's an alternative to that. If we go into the settings here, unlock the settings, and put on mouse mode, all of a sudden you see a real, honest-to-goodness mouse pointer on everything. So as I move my finger around, it's just like using a mouse. Good for web browsing, not good for normal use, which I guess is why Samsung makes it pretty easy to turn on and off. But it works on pretty much everything. It's quite cool. Hitting the end button will always take you back to the home screen, which is nice since a lot of times reaching, when you're holding the device with one hand, I have large hands, and reaching that upper right hand corner to hit X is a little bit of a stretch, so it's often much easier to hit the end key down here.